Okay. So we're going to take our strap, and we want a strap as long as you've got it. So if you've got the 10-foot, that's what you want. Let's see. Let's get this. So we're going to take our strap and loop it large. Now, Liz, for you and I, we wouldn't necessarily need a 10-foot strap, but for taller folks, they would. If you don't have a long 10-foot strap, you could loop 2 straps together. We want the strap to be right underneath our armpits. And then we're going to bring 1 foot inside the strap. And we want the tail of the strap to be pointing towards us so that we can pull it if we need to while we're still lying down. And we don't want the strap as tight as it possibly can be. We want it to have a tiny bit of slack to it before we come down, only because when we come down, it'll get a little bit tighter on its own. So from here, go ahead and come on down. So we've got the strap right underneath our armpits. Arms can come down. Which leg do you have the strap on, Liz?
My right leg.
Fabulous. Now let's take the left leg and straighten it. And if you needed to, you could tighten your strap. Now, ideally, we'd be resting on the center of the left heel with the toes pointing up, but most likely that leg is splaying out to the side because that's what feels natural for us, but it's not the neutral position. Neutral would be on the center of the heel, toes pointing up. And we want the right hip to pull forward, lengthening the right side of our torso. Slow and steady ujjayi, in and out through the nose. This is a wonderfully restorative pose. With the strap, we really don't have to do anything, and yet we can get such a deep stretch. Bend your left knee. Bring the left foot inside the strap as well. You'll probably need to bend the knees a little bit. Keep the left leg in the strap. Bring the right foot onto the ground, knee bent. Don't worry, the strap will probably be a little bit loose right now. That's okay. And then straighten the right leg. And if you need to, now go ahead and tighten the strap. Try to stay in the center of the right heel, toes pointing up. We're trying to pull the left hip forward. Imagine that we're doing this pose on the wall, with the foot on the wall, and how we try to get the toes to point straight up and the toes to point straight forward. Same thing here, it's just a different orientation of the body. Breathe.
This pose is fantastic.
Isn't this amazing?
Yeah.
The long straps just really, you're able to bind and do so many wonderful things with them. Bring the arms out to the sides. We still have this left leg in the strap. And then the beauty of the strap is that we can go into a twist from here. So trying to keep the shoulder blades down, well, actually I take that back. You may have to hold on to the strap as you go into the twist. Now, the lower half of the body is going to twist. You may need to tighten the strap and then bring the arms back out to the sides. Pull this left hip towards the right foot. So this is a stretch that Tosh is going to go bonkers for.
In a good way?
Pardon?
In a good way? Good bonkers?
Oh yeah, it's going to be really fabulous for her, put it that way. Bring that left leg back up. Bend the right knee, right foot on the ground. And both feet up into the strap again. Left foot comes down. The strap might be a little bit loose right now, that's okay. Straighten the left leg. And then from there, if you need to, tighten the strap. Yes. Bring the right leg, oh my goodness gracious, over towards the left side. If you need to, you can hold onto the strap with the left hand, or you can tighten the strap. Pull the right hip towards the left foot. Draw the leg back up. Bend your left knee. Keep the left knee bent. Hold on to your strap. Bend your right knee. And bring the right foot down. Both knees bent. You can stretch the arms and legs long, or hug the knees in towards the chest, whatever feels best for you. Roll over towards the side. Push down through the arms. And come on up. And then let's move the strap. So there are so many things that you can do with a longer strap that you can't do with the shorter ones. You could also hook the strap around you, around your hips. And you can do this with a shorter strap, an 8-foot strap you can do this with. A 6-foot doesn't always work with this. And then tighten the strap, not all the way. To have a block nearby. I'm going to take the block. Maybe so you can see a little bit better. So I've got the block underneath me. I've got the strap towards me, the tail end of the strap towards me so that I can make it tighter if I need to. And then I come down onto the block. Now, you can start to go into a little bit of a back bend. If you have 2 blocks, you'd bring the second block underneath the head. If you don't have 2 blocks, then it's going to be a little bit of a back bending pose. And from here, you could tighten the strap to go as deeply as you'd like. And then arms splay out to the sides. Breathe slowly and steadily. Now, if you really want to get some deep relaxation in here, you've got a block underneath your head as well.
Mm-hmm.
You take your balls on top of your block underneath your head and get a little bit of a massage into the neck. Release the gripping in the legs and the hips. To come out of this, we can reach down and try to loosen the buckle, or we can slip one foot out so that the knees can come up. Roll over towards the side. And ease yourself back. Move the strap. Let's reach your right leg forward. Left foot comes in for Janu Shirshasana. Turn the base of your left knee. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale. Side fold. Right arm can come down onto the leg or the ground or block on the ground. Left arm reaching up towards the sky. So just turn sideways so you can see me better. If your hips were ever really tight, you could always bring the block underneath the leg. You don't want this knee just floating up. You want the leg to be able to relax. If there's any gripping, it's going to make it harder to go into this pose. Pin the left cheek down and try to lengthen the torso. Brace the right arm as best you can against this leg to open the chest a little bit more. You could look up the top thumb, could look forward, could look down, but lengthen. So we have a tendency to either open the chest or to lengthen. We want to try to do both. Some folks will try to hold onto their front foot in this pose. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that most of us, if we hold onto that foot, tend to do it like this or like this, and that pulls the shoulder up. And we don't want that. So if you're going to hold onto this foot, which is a challenging thing to do in this pose, we want the palm to be facing up to the inside of the foot. Thumb holds onto the top of the foot. Fingers come onto the sole of the foot with the pinky pointing up. The elbow comes down, and the shoulder stays down. And then we can come into the pose. It's challenging, but we want to make sure that we're not holding onto the outside or on the top or big toe. But you don't have to hold onto the foot. Keep lengthening. Take the top arm, reach it back, pull the shoulder back, draw the shoulder blade down the back, and stretch into the left side of the neck. Now some shoulders won't like this very much. If the shoulder doesn't like reaching back like this, try bird wing instead. So you still get the movement in that direction, but you don't get the weight pulling on the shoulder. And then chin, whatever position feels best for you. So you can stretch into the left side of the neck. And while you're doing this, notice if you've gotten all compressed through the torso. So lengthen again. Let's put this back arm, this left arm. Reach it overhead towards the front foot. Again, if that's too much on the shoulder, bird wing. Pin the left cheek down. Pull the torso towards the foot. And open the chest towards the sky. Keep pinning this this left thigh down. Notice that as you pin the left thigh down, you get such a great stretch through the left side of the lower back. And then let's slowly come into a forward fold. Coming down over the straight leg. Squaring the shoulders towards the front foot, and if you need to, squaring the hips as well. And come all the way back up. Stretch the body however it needs to stretch. And notice how the body just feels a little bit loosier. Just a little unwound. Let's switch the sides. Let's bring the left leg forward. Right foot comes in. And I can already feel how much tighter I am on this side. So let's see what happens. Now keep in mind that in Janu Shirshasana, the foot could be anywhere, from the calf into the thigh, even into the groin, just depending on how open we are. Turn to face the right leg. Inhale the left arm up. Get this length. Exhale. Ooh, side fold. Left arm can be on the leg, on the ground, or on a block to the inside of the ground. Right arm reaches up. Pin the right cheek down, lengthen the torso, open the chest. And keep in mind that the poses are, I like to think of the poses as living, breathing entities. And so with each breath, the pose should change slightly. When we first come into it, we may not be able to go fully into it. We may not be able to take the full expression of the pose. So just give yourself a few breaths. Try to relax into it, seeing if you can go a little bit deeper. Find a comfortable place for your neck. If the shoulder doesn't feel comfortable, you can always go into a bird wing. Keep lengthening. Try to stay on the center of the front heel, toes pointing up. Push down through that right leg. Remember, we're always trying to get that pull in two different directions. So as we pin the right cheek down, the head pulls away from the bum. We're also pinning the right thigh down as we pull forward and open the chest. Take the top arm, reach it back, shoulder blade down, back. Again, you could always take a bird wing if you need to. And try looking in different directions while you're doing this, so that the stretch goes into different parts of the right side of the neck. Keep lengthening. Take this back arm, this right arm, and reach it overhead. Pin the right leg down. Pin the right cheek down. Pull the head and chest forward and twist open. Get it as long as you can. And then let's slowly come into a forward fold over the straight leg. Square the shoulders. If you need to square the hips, feel free. And hinge. Belly pulls away from the bum, chest pulls away from the belly. And ease yourself all the way back. Unwind the legs. Give them a little wiggle if they need, or a little stretch. Cross your ankles. Bring your hands forward and step back into down dog. So if you need to turn on your mat. And once you're up and down dog, stretch the body however you need to stretch. Sway your hips, bicycle your legs. Reach your legs skyward, whatever you need. Lift your hands. Step, jump, or lightly float both feet forward. Inhale, monkey. And exhale, Uttanasana. Let's stay here. Feet comfortable distance apart. Outsides of the feet parallel to the sides of the mat. Inner and outer ankles both lifting up. The sit bones lifting up. Bandhas engaged into the hips. Hands wherever you want them. They can be on the ground, they can be on the legs, they can take big toe clasp. They could be on a block, whatever feels best. But I want you to check in with the lower half of the body. I want the toes to be pointing forward. I want the center of the heel to be down. I don't want you to roll to the outside or the inside of the heel or collapse in the arch. I want the knees to try to point forward. So we've talked about this a lot. We're trying to get the thighs and the calves to be independent of each other. And then just hinge. Let's bring the hands up onto a block. Tall height of the block. Lean slightly back so the hips are not directly over the heels. Just leaning slightly back. And then from here, we're going to shift from side to side. And all the way over towards the right. And all the way over towards the left. Trying to keep both cheeks on the imaginary wall behind us. Let's bring the feet wider apart so that they're about mat distance apart. So Liz, for you and I, they're about mat distance apart. For someone who's a bit taller, they might be a little bit wider than their mat. Lean slightly back again. So the hips and the heels don't quite line up. And then same thing, shifting towards the right, moving towards the left. Both cheeks staying on the imaginary wall. Bring the feet a little bit closer together. Hands can be on the ground or the block, and you can turn the block to a smaller height. We're going from here into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So we're going to bring the hands over towards the right so that the hands are one on each side of the right, but they're in front of it, but still one to the outside and one to the inside of the right. Bend the knees, shift the weight into that right leg. Left leg lifts, reaches straight back. Open the hips. And eventually, left arm reaches up as well. Ooh. Watch your balance. And so notice kind of floor you're on, right? If you're on a carpet, it's going to be a little bit harder. I'm on a mat on the porcelain, and the mat's just slipping around on me. Reach from head to heel and arm to arm. You could always bring the hand down to the ground. It doesn't have to be on the wall. Bring both hands down. Left foot comes down. And forward fold. Let's walk the hands over. So left foot is to the center of the hands. Shift the weight, or bend the knees, shift the weight to the left leg. Right leg lifts, reaches back, get that leg active. Open the hips, push down through the left arm as you reach up through the right. And reach head to heel and arm to arm. You could always bring the hand down onto the ground. You could always turn the block to a taller height. Breathe. Look down. Bring the hand down. Bring the back foot down. Step the foot forward. Inhale, monkey. And exhale, Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Plant your hands down. Step back. Down dog, vinyasa to down dog, your choice. And stretch the body again. Sway the hips, bicycle the legs.
Look at your hands and step your left foot forward between the hands. And then walk the hands to the center. So turn, yep. Feet are parallel or slightly pigeon-toed. Inhale, lengthen the torso. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Good. Now we want to be careful here that we're not locking the knees and that we're not collapsing to the inside or the outside of our ankles. And so, Liz, you don't have a problem with that, but for those of us that are flat-footed or high-arched, we really have a problem with that. Arms, whatever variation feels best. If you want to do a little ragdoll action, feel free. Keeping the legs and the bum where they are. Let's walk your hands over towards the right side. Pull your waist towards the left side. So it's a lovely stretch into the back and into the leg. Walk the hands back to the center and over to the opposite side. So the head and the arms reach towards your left while your waist pulls towards your right. Walk the hands back to the center. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge at the hips and forward fold one more time. If one was so inclined, one could come into a tripod straddle handstand from here if one did not have a bobby pin at the top of their head nor a bun at the top of their head.
A headstand, right? Not a handstand.
Oh, did I say a handstand?
Yeah.
I meant a headstand, yes. Draw the elbows towards each other. Reach through the legs. And then draw the legs back down, coming back down into your straddle. Walk your hands over towards your right side and step back, down dog or vinyasa into down dog. Look at your hands. Step, jump, or float forward. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, Uttanasana, bowing. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reaching all the way up. And exhale, prayer. All right, pull the long end of your mat. Pull your mat exactly as it is, but all the way up against the wall. So just push it against the wall. We're going into triangle, Trikonasana, and we might even go into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon, one more time. So a block will be helpful. So for triangle, we want the right foot parallel to the wall, but not against it. Left foot turned in, cheeks and shoulder blades on that wall. Make sure that the knees aren't locked. Make sure that you've got some give there. Inhale your right arm up to get the length through this right side. Keep both cheeks and shoulder blades on the wall as you hinge at the hips. The left hip pulls back, the right arm reaches forward. Keep reaching it forward till the hand comes onto your hip, your thigh, your calf. Left arm reaching up. Keep tucking the right hip under, left hip rolling open. Left hip keeps pulling back. And notice how it's easy to get 2 or 3 points on the wall. It's hard to get all 4. Try. It's okay if all 4 aren't on the wall, but they're trying for it. Now, while we're doing this pose, while we're practicing triangle, there's a tendency to get really small through the underside of the torso.
Yeah.
So, make sure that you get some length here. You could try a variation of this pose in a corner with a hand against the wall. That will help you to get a little bit more length through this right side. If you're working the length, or the strength rather, you could have the right arm lifted with nothing on it. If you want to work the stretch a little bit more, take the left arm, the top arm, overhead. Now, I'm not too keen on this left arm being overhead. One, because it has a tendency to turn us, and also because when the left arm reaches, we have a tendency to get really small through that right side. So make sure that you're keeping the length if you're taking the left arm overhead. Look down. Bend the right knee. Stepping up. Right hand can be on the ground or on the block. Block has 3 different weights. And open the hips. Try to get the cheeks and the shoulder blades on the wall. Now, when you're on the wall, this pose becomes a lot easier balance-wise. But we know that there's a tendency for this foot to come really far forward so that your hip is no longer over the foot. This foot instead reaches really far forward. We don't want that. We want to make sure that that heel is underneath the hip. And so if you were as fortunate as I am to be in the perfect position so that your foot can rest on the wall, use that to help you to open the hips up a little bit more. You might be fortunate enough to have this top hand against the edge of the wall. You can also use that as leverage. Bend the right knee. With control, we're going to take this top foot, this left foot, and bring it down to where it started. Not forward, but to bring it down where it started. And then you, of course, may want to do your little hip dance.
Are we still in triangle?
Nope, you can come out of triangle. And let's go on to the other side.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And notice how that side feels. Stretching through that right side of the torso. So left foot parallel to the wall, right foot turns in. Tendency is coming from the hips to kind of shift, so get the hips where we want them, both cheeks, both shoulder blades trying to be on the wall. Make sure that the knees aren't locked, not hyperextended, and just notice where your knees are pointing. Because ideally, the knees are pointing where those toes are pointing. And so we have a tendency to have the knees do the work that the hips should be doing. We don't want that. So right now, my toes on the left foot are pointing straight forward. My cheeks are both on the wall, but my left knee is angled towards the camera, which means that I'm not opening at the hip socket. I'm opening from the knee, which we don't want. So get the knees to point where the toes point. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, hinge of the hips, side fold. Left hand hit thigh, calf. Right arm up towards the sky. Right hip keeps pulling back. And just make sure that this left hand is not directly on that kneecap. Keep trying to get the cheeks and the shoulder blades as close to the wall as you can without sacrificing the knees. Keep lengthening the left side of the torso. Move down. Bend the left knee. And let's get ready for half moon. So most folks, when they come into this, will have to move this left foot further away from the wall. Ideally, it stays exactly where it is. Stepping up, left hand coming onto the ground or the block as we lift up. You can take that top hand and reach it a little bit further forward and probably hook it around the ledge or the edge of the wall and use that to help go a little bit deeper into the pose. Does that work?
Yeah.
Be careful with the knees. Make sure those knees are pointing where we want them. Bend the left knee. Well, that right foot comes down to where it started. Straighten the legs. Pivot the feet to parallel. And do a little hip dance. And so notice the difference between half moon with and without the wall. We did half moon without the wall earlier. Notice how it feels when we do the wall. And we can go quite a bit deeper into this. All right. Go ahead and grab your balls. You have your balls in the tote?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's take the balls over the shoulder, onto the shoulder blade. Do a little wiggle.
It has turned into a bobby pin graveyard around my yoga mat. I just pop them out and then I forget that they're there.
Well, I never know when I'm going to need them, so what I've started doing is I have my bobby pins on the bottom of my shirt, and invariably I'll throw them into the wash, and there'll be just bobby pins floating around in the washing machine. Oh, well.
Exactly. So we've got a lot of options when we're doing the balls on the wall. We can move the body so that the balls move over the balls. The balls move over the body, or we can keep the balls where they are and move the body so that the muscles underneath the balls move. It wouldn't be a yoga class at Liz's without the ambulance siren going off a few
I
times.
know. Maybe one day my building will get new windows.
Maybe. All right. Let's go ahead and take your balls to the opposite side. Seeing what's going on this side as well. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Good thing Sophie's not at your house.
No. Sophie and I have the same reaction to storms.
Do you go into the closet and start throwing shoes around?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. They really scare me.
Well, anytime you'd like to borrow either of the girls, you feel free, let me know, and I will send them to you. If you want, I can let you borrow Maisie's thunder shirt.
That's what I need, a thunder shirt.
Maisie might fit you.
It might. We're about the same size.
Okay. Go ahead and come on off that. Go ahead and take a ball out. Just a ball. We're going QL.
Oh, yeah.
So I will leave this up to you. You can do QL either on the wall or on the ground. You want it on the ground, you want to go deep, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to take a ball, and you've got the ground working. But if you wanted to do this on the wall, if you didn't want to go quite as deep, you would take your ball around waist level to the right of the spine. We're going to start on the right side. Further away the feet are from the wall, the deeper this will be. And then we can just move slightly side to side, a little bit up and down. My favorite is the contract and release. And you may not find the QL immediately, but you tend to know when you found it, right, Liz?
You know.
So Liz has a block underneath her waist and a ball on top of the block. And then her bum just kind of hangs over. So the bum's not quite on the block, although part of the bum might be on the block. If she wanted to go a little bit deeper, Liz, which side do you have the ball on?
The right.
If she wanted to go a little bit deeper, she could lean her knees over towards the right side. If she wanted to go a little bit deeper, she might not want to. If she wanted to go even deeper still, she could bring her right ankle onto her left thigh with her right knee dropping down towards the ground. Keep breathing. So the reason I wanted to make sure that we got the QL in is that QL can really throw everything off whack. So I wanted to make sure that we got QL and psoas stretches in if we're having a problem with the lower back, because the QL can affect your hip, your pelvis, your knee, your spine, your ribs, your shoulders, and shoulder blades. So he's kind of an important guy, a muscle we don't want to piss off. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is this?
Say it's a 5.
All right, so it's worse than normal for you.
Yeah.
And then let's go ahead and switch to the opposite side. Breathe. Again, you can move slightly up and down, slightly side to side. You can do the contract and release. Contract and release tends to be really intense. So if you're on the wall, you don't have as much movement allowed, but if you're on the ground, the knees can splay over towards the side, or you can bring your left ankle onto your right thigh, left knee dropping down towards the ground. How is this side, Liz?
This is like a 6.
Keep breathing. Go ahead and take the ball out from underneath you, remove the block, and ease your back down. When you're ready, from here we're going right into Shavasana, final relaxation. So you could stay exactly where you are. You could do a little wiggling and take legs up the wall. You could put your balls back in the tote and put the balls on top of the block and rest your head on top of the balls on the block, getting a nice massage into the base of the skull. Remember to roll the shoulders down and back. Let the body be still. And let your mind be still. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of love. Now allow this love to flow to the surface. It fills my mind, my heart, my spirit, my body, my consciousness, my very being. It radiates out from me in all directions and returns to me multiplied. The more love I use and give, the more I have to give. The supply is endless. The use of love makes me feel good. It is an expression of my own inner joy. So I now allow the infinite well of love to flow to the surface. It flows from me to you. From us, it flows out into the world. And from the world, it flows back to us multiplied. With the inhale, we draw this love in. We are nourished by it, nurtured by it, supported by it. With each exhale, we send this love back out into the world so that we may be surrounded by it, so that all who come into contact with us may be touched by it. Slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers, waking your body. Draw the knees in and gently, slowly, carefully roll over towards the side. Push down through the arms and ease yourself up till you're sitting comfortably. May we find peace in what we see, speak, and feel. May peace flow from our hearts to the world. From the world, may we bring peace back to our hearts. And through our energy, our prana, may we help the entire world find peace. Namaste.
Namaste.